course of my career, I've met many people who are struggling in different areas of their life, whether it be in a relationship, issues with parenting, or a personal issue such as depression or low self-esteem. Many people don't have the financial resources or time to devote to going to therapy on a regular basis. In hopes to meet the needs of those people, I created this podcast, Top 5 with Chris Taylor, where you learn the top 5 things that you can do right now to change that difficult situation in your life. On today's episode of Top 5 with Chris Taylor, we're going to talk about the top 5 things that you can do to be a good father. Now, who doesn't want to be a better father? There's always room for improvement. And what I want to start by saying is, this isn't to say that, sort of that stigma that men aren't good fathers, or, because just the sake that they're a man, or that they're always sort of out there making money or doing other things and not participating in their kids' lives, because I just want to say there's a lot of good dads out there. I'd say there's a lot more good dads than there are bad dads, but I think, dads sort of get a bad rap sometimes. But these are things that even good dads can do to sort of improve themselves and be better fathers, okay? So top 5 things you can do to be a good father. Number 1, express love. Now, a lot of times as men, we bring into our lives sort of how we've been conditioned by previous generations, fathers, grandfathers, and such. And sometimes, they've been sort of emotionally absent in our lives. And we want to avoid that and not recreate those patterns in our kids' lives. One of the best things that you can do is just openly and honestly and frequently tell your kid how much you love them. They crave that. They want that. And even if you're doing it, do it more. Lavish on. They're going to soak it up, and they're going to know that they're loved and cared for. It's going to build resiliency, and it's going to give them a sense of industry that they can go out into this world and accomplish everything. Especially if you're raising a young boy, teach him that being an emotionally invested, emotionally available man is a quality that you value, and ultimately society will value, and it will benefit the world immensely. Okay, number 2, role model communication. So along the lines of number 1, we want to role model what it means to express love, but just overall, be communicative. If somebody asks a question or wants to know what's going on in your inner world, don't shy away, don't pull back, don't be resistant or sort of aloof. Engage, be present and engage in that conversation. I think what we do oftentimes is we do think, oh, it's exhausting, or we've reached a point where we just don't want to talk anymore, or it's easy to just go through the motions. But you're a teacher. You're a teacher of tasks. You're a teacher of things, but really you're a teacher of communication and what it means to be fully alive as a human being. Such a big part of that is effectively communicating, and being able to effectively communicate a lot of times comes down to, can you effectively communicate your emotional needs and the emotional side of life? Okay, so number 3, don't be quick to anger. Now, it's easy to go to a place of frustration or exhaustion, or just feel like, I don't have the energy to give right now. Well, you've signed up to be a dad, and giving to your kids is a constant. There can be breaks at time, and I encourage you to build that in with whoever you're co-parenting or partnering with to raise this child. But for the most part, allow yourself to let go of that exhaustion and anger. And if it's there, work on ways to calm yourself, but don't be quick to express that, right? Because if your kid does something that you perceive is not right, or that they should have done it in a different way, you can do a lot more damage by getting angry at them, because they're going to interpret that as a shameful act on their part, and they're going to be less likely to want to try that again. How are they going to learn and grow if they're getting this message of each time they screw up, it's met with an anger? Now, you can be firm in setting limits and expectations, but you don't want to be angry with people, because that's really counter to what we talked about in number 1, and that's expressing love. Okay, number 4, ask about their interests. And this is just about a parent or anybody that's parenting or raising a kid at all. Sometimes we
fall into the trap of sort of living our own dreams through our kids or wanting certain things for them. And a lot of times those are really good things, right? We might want them to have a particular job or make a certain amount of money to, be able to make it in life, maybe in a way that we haven't. But what we want to do is really ask what their interests are. Stay curious with them. We don't want to assume that we know, and we don't want to sort of prescribe to them what their interests are, because we'll lose them and they won't feel valued and validated and feel free to explore and challenge themselves to learn new things, okay? And the fifth thing that we can do is admit your limitations. I think what we end up doing is we sort of become these heroes to our kids, and that's great. But we start to feed into that we can do no wrong and that we know all things. Well, show your kids the times that you encounter difficulty and how you go about fixing that. Now, that's based on age and developmental level of your child, and probably specifically, more focused on, those sort of preteen, teenage years where, there's more of a vocabulary and emotional understanding. But, it's okay to model that. I don't know. Hey, let's figure it out together. I think that's a great way that you can partner with your kids. To help them, sort of learn what they need to move on in life. But by admitting your limitations, you're also role modeling to your kids that it's okay not to know. And what do you do when you don't know? You ask for help and you seek support. And what you do is you partner and you team with other people. And teaching your children how to, effectively partner and team with other people in life is going to serve them in every area: work, relationships, etc. So again, those are the top 5 things that you can do today to be a good father, and even if you are a good father, to be a better father. If you liked what you just saw and you would like more information about how you can implement these top 5 things into your life right now, please check out this and additional videos on my website, www.christaylormft.com.